All right, everybody, we're going to make our topographic map. Now, a topographic map is a special type of map that actually shows elevation. So rather than a flat map that we just have like lines and words on them, this actually shows a mountain and how tall it gets, or a canyon, other things like that. And we're going to 3D print it in a three-dimensional way. So this is a 3D map. All right, so hey, first start off by going here and clicking on this map. We're in the topographic map number 1, generate a map zip and STL assignment. This is the first phase of our assignment. There's going to be several parts. Click here to create your topographic map zip file. So I'm going to click right on there. All right, so here, let's get rid of this little warning. That's not important. The first thing I want you to do is to increase the transparency significantly. So I'm going to slide this over so that way I can see the map a little bit better. Don't go all the way. You won't be able to see the elevation. So you can see, well, somewhere in the between, but a little bit to the right, maybe 2 notches away from all the way. I'm going to use that. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to find, scroll down a bit and we can see the zoom. I'm going to zoom way out, and there's 2 different ways you can find the place that you want to find. Let's do the first one here. Now that I've adjusted this so I can actually see the map, let's try, let's just put in Yakima. Yakima, enter. And here we can see we are on the Yakima Valley, and you can zoom out and get a better idea here. The other way that you could do it is to just kind of go there and click on that. So you click here, we get this going. Because sometimes, like for example, I tried this, Mount Adams. There's no result. Sorry, it says. We know Mount Adams is definitely a very real place in Washington. We can actually see it. Sometimes I think you can see it from many, many parts of Yakima, right? So we're going to zoom way out. Now look, if you try to roll, it's going to say, hey, use control. So you can use control in the scroll button and zoom way out. Oh, again, we have to kind of move this way over so we can see what we're doing. And zoom way out. And then what you can do is move over here. We know that Mount Adams is down here somewhere. And we can zoom in. Hey, there it is, Mount Adams. And you can see, because I have this, and if you can't really see where the mountain is, you can change this, and then you get a really good view of it. So you can adjust this and find what you need. All right. That looks pretty cool. So I'm going to make one of Mount Adams today, right now. All right, so the next step, what we're going to do is once you have that done and you have a good view of what you kind of want, we're going to go over here. And for our first project, we're going to make this a little bit smaller. We're going to break this down to about 90 millimeters. That way we could print several of them, 80 millimeters. That way we can print several of them at a time and we won't clog up our printers, so we can get these actually done. So we're going to put 80 millimeters here. And then what you're going to do, here it is, recenter map box on map. So we're going to click that. Okay, now the problem is that this thing is only 57 millimeters. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this until this thing looks like a square, about like a square. You can see 80 by 83. Let's make the height a little bit smaller, and it needs to be 80 by 80, roughly. Okay, a little bit less would be good. Okay, 79.9, that's good enough. And I'm going to move my square where I want it. That's going to give me a pretty good view of Mount Adams. So I'm going to put that right there. You can expand the square, but always check this number before you do anything. So you can make this bigger, and it's still going to be 80 by 80. Okay, that's 77. That'll work just fine. Cool. So I've got that exactly where I want that part. And this looks really good. I've got a good view of it. Now we need to adjust a few variables. Here's the thing. We want to keep the base model thickness at 1. These are all fine. We don't want to mess with any of those settings. The one that we do want to mess with is vertical exaggeration. Now I'm going to show you something. Mountains really, when we think of them very tall. But if you look at this, I'm going to try this out real quick and just press export selected area and download files. And we're going to start playing around. You got to do this several times to get it the way you want. And before you download it, make sure you preview the STL. Now this thing sometimes doesn't load correctly, so you may have to go back and just give it another shot. And it should take a while. And once you get to this screen, we're always going to preview the STL. And here is Mount Adams. So if you're happy with that, that's cool. Let's try doing it again. I'm going to keep this one here and go back to this tab. And I'm going to change this to a vertical exaggerator of 2 or 2.5 or 3 or whatever you want. Okay, let's try 3. And you're going to see this is probably going to do way too much. And basically what that does is it makes it taller so we can really see that mountain well. But I think this is going to be too much and it's going to look unrealistic. It's now 3 times the height of it, and that, that just looks ridiculous. Mount Adams certainly doesn't look like that. Okay, so we can go back and we can try it again. Let's go back and try it with 2 times. And let's export that one. And you can play around with this as many times as you need to, and then click Preview the STL. You know what? That one looks pretty good to me. We could try 1.5. Let's do it 1.5 instead, something in between 1 and 1.5, 1 and 2. And we could just try this many times. And you can see as I go through these are the different ones that I've generated. I really don't like that. I'm just going to get rid of that tab. This is the one that's 1. I don't hate that, but maybe I need to see a little bit more than that. This one I think is going to be too much. I really like this one, that 1.5. So once we found the one that we want, we're going to click Download Zip File. Okay, now we're going to keep this zip file on your computer, and you're going to prove you did this, you got to turn it in. But guess what? Zip files can't be 3D printed. So before you turn it in, you're going to have to unzip it. So let's go into So go down here and click on this folder in Windows, the File Explorer. And you get to some screen like this, and you're going to scroll down and go to your Downloads folder. I've deleted everything in here so to make it easier. And what you're going to do, see, this is a zip file, and you can't do much with that until we do this. Right-click it and extract all. And it's going to go into my downloads, and it's going to make a folder named all these different numbers. That's fine. And just don't change any of that and just extract it. Now, if we look very carefully here, we can see, and if you want to, you could change this to extra large icons. This one has a zipper on it. We want to open the one that doesn't have the zipper on it. And you can see now we have our STL file. So here we go. We got pings and other things. One of these is going to be an STL file. It should have like one of the icons that shows it's from Bamboo Labs or something like that. And so then you're going to go and you're going to turn that in. Let me show you how. Okay, so here we are back at the assignment page. You're going to click Start Assignment. Click on this. And we need to navigate into the downloads. And there's our folder that we just extracted in here. And it should just limit it to the STL. And there it is. And you're going to submit that to me. And then I'll be able to grade that. And then the next step, we're going to make text that's going to go along with this. Thanks, everybody.